Hey, all you wanderlusters and hometown heroes. This is Remain Rome Return, a podcast that pits your hometown lifestyle against the allure of far-off frontiers. In the show, we are going to try to settle the age-old debate on whether it is better to be the local legend or the one that got away.
And we are your host. I am Christian.
And I am Damien.
And together, we are going to spend each episode trying to discover which lifestyle truly is best. Is it better to stay close to the roots that raised you, or to fly away into the unknown?
Yep, and during these conversations, we will be discussing personal experiences and asking guests for their input to decide once and for all whether it is better to remain, roam, or return.
Hey, welcome back, everybody.
Or should I say, ho, ho, ho.
Too early.
Oh, yeah. I just figured since Halloween's over, everybody's already celebrating Christmas time, so went in St. Nick's pocket.
That's true. They're
Do as the elves
already Christmas commercials. It literally it's way too early.
Yeah, we went to Disney, and it's already switched over to Christmas.
Did it?
Yep. November 1st, it is now officially Christmas season. Nobody remembers Thanksgiving. I don't know what the deal is.
Well, should we remember Thanksgiving?
Well, never forget, you know.
That was back in September.
Oh, yeah. Wrong holiday. Wrong celebration.
To me, it's still spooky season.
It is. I think it's always spooky season until Thanksgiving.
I would say mid-November. Like maybe not mid-November. I'll give it a week. Week into November can be spooky.
And then you start doing. Okay, so a week into November, you stop spooky season.
Yep.
But then do you go to Thanksgiving or do you go straight to Christmas?
I believe you go Thanksgiving.
Yeah, you have to, right?
But yeah, I understand with like starting to get Christmas stuff already.
Sure.
Because like as soon as we're done recording this, we're going to Target because, you know.
You have an extra $300 burning a hole in your pocket?
I don't, but Abby does. We've been over this.
Well, I think the other thing
I just had to accept. Again, that's why I'm not letting her go by herself. That's why I was like, oh, no, wait, we're done recording the podcast.
You got to be the governor on the purchases?
Yes. Yep. I have to. But she did do a very good point. I was like, it's way too early to start thinking about Christmas. But she was like, yeah, but if you don't get it now, it goes so quickly that it's just gone. And so
it's either gone or it gets way too expensive.
Yeah, or you have to try to find it on secondary sites.
Yeah, or well, the other point to remember too is kind of to bring back the theme of the podcast, which has since been lost for a couple of episodes, is keep in mind if you don't decorate soon enough, then you're battling the fucking weather.
Yeah, that is true. It's already kind of getting there. But also, like, we kind of decided, like, not doing lights on the house this year. We'll still decorate some parts of the house. Also, like, the way our house is set up is, like, it's a, like, technically 2.5 story. We have a nice finished attic.
Yeah.
Wow, that sounded very braggy, but...
That's very braggadocious.
But, so, like, to put lights on the house, like, we don't have, like, no first-story roofs at all. Like, It's just the very, like... 25-foot drop of a very steep roof because it has, and so it's like, well, I'm not getting up there to put up lights. Like
well, I mean, the other thing, I don't know. I never understood that too. When everybody's like, "Oh, I got to get up on the roof to do the lights," I'm like, just get a ladder and just hang it on the like edge. You don't have to get up there, right? You can just hang it on the what are those
on the gutters?
What are those called? The gutters.
Yeah,
you don't have to get up there.
Well, that's still having to get up 25. Like, I don't have a ladder to get up 25 feet in the air. I'm not I'm not.
You
a
don't have a
sculptor.
you don't have a cherry picker at like
No.
ready.
I have a 6-foot ladder, and even when I get that, Abby's like, "Don't die."
Yeah, yeah. The knees do start to buckle around like 15 feet. I'll give you that.
Yeah, and so we'll do some decorating on the outside still, but like within reason, I guess.
Yeah, I will say, having a recessed house, Abby and I don't really do too much outdoor decorating
Oh
either
yeah, no
because
one's
nobody ever sees it.
just like Amazon delivery person.
Yeah, and they're like, I'm just gonna egg this house anyways.
Yeah,
Ordering every 3 days.
yeah. I've gotten a little bit. It gets bad sometimes.
Yeah.
It just
Anyways, I don't
spooky
want to
season.
I don't want to get into Christmas yet because it's still spooky season and we
It's
are
definitely
only
spooky season in my house because it's getting cold now,
Mhm.
and a mousey decided it wanted to be my roommate.
Okay.
And
Did you allow it or did you evict him?
he's murdered. I murdered him.
By what means?
A
Allegedly.
tramp. Nope, not allegedly.
Nope, I fucking did it.
Yep, I done did it.
Handcuff him now.
The mousey community is just very upset now.
Don't let Mickey hear this.
Hey, I think
Michael.
one of my favorite fucking jokes that one of the jokes I wish I had written, and I say it way too often, and I think I do because Abby also gets a good laugh out of it.
I think you said it on this podcast already too.
I have, so I'm going to say it again.
Say it again.
My favorite joke.
Make it better this time.
It doesn't need. It's just the perfect one. Mickey is a nickname, and let me tell you, Michael Mouse is no friend of mine.
Yeah.
Oh god, we're getting the Disney.
Oh my god, they're coming back for us again.
We keep setting ourselves up for failure, Damien.
Do you want to go after Taylor Swift while you're at it and just double down on both of them?
That's nope. As much as Disney adults terrify me, Swifties will legitimately dox you.
Yeah.
And that is something I was talking to some people about the podcast yesterday. And someone was like, yeah, I want to kind of be on your podcast, but like I'm at the part still where like you're trying to dox everyone.
Well, we had to start somewhere.
I was like, oh yeah, we have that bit.
Yeah.
And also, why would you guys keep talking about the Fast and the Furious franchise?
You mean the best movie franchise in existence? Excuse me?
Abby made a great reference to it today because I was trying to make a like turning light out of this parking lot after we got bagels this morning. Mm-hmm. And it's one of those lights, if you miss it, it takes for fucking ever to get through. And so I hit the turn probably a little too hard. And
I may or may not have pulled the e-brake. I don't know.
I am driving a Subaru Outback.
4-wheel drive.
4-wheel drive. It's not going to tip. I hope not. But yeah.
It's also not going to drift when you have that much control.
No. I have too much grip. But Abby goes like, why isn't there like a Fast and Furious? Just like normal people cars. Like they're not super, just like someone in like a Hyundai Elantra. just in the a 1994 Buick Regal.
Well, I mean, they do soup up a Volkswagen Jetta in one of the I think it's one of the first movies.
That's
if
true.
I'm not mistaken.
That is true.
They soup one of those up, and I was like, boy, would the Nazis be upset about this? you are turning a German piece of Nazi engineering into a quote unquote like racer. Drag racer. They are not going to be happy about this.
I was about to say, yeah, they have the usual like souped up shitty cars of like a Honda Civic and or like a fucking I don't even know what other one. Like classic like Nissans. No, it's just literally a Honda Civic. That's true.
It's literally. I mean, why do you think I have a Honda Civic? You know,
just put a fart can on it.
What's that, Tokyo? Drift. Oh, I'm so glad Fast and Furious is back. Maybe we'll scrap everything and just go back to just being a Fast and Furious podcast. I miss those days.
We might as well, man. It's just I think that's what the people have been begging for.
Well, judging by the significant drop off of listens, I would say they were in it for Fast and Furious only.
They were like, yes, this is a purely Fast and Furious podcast. As we've gotten very sidetracked, yes, I murdered the mouse.
Okay, good. They had it coming. Was it one of the small, cute ones, or was it like a rat?
Well, no, like not a rat, but it wasn't like that. Like there are like the super tiny ones, but like slightly bigger than that. Like a bigger mouse than you want, like living in your home.
Like well fed.
Yeah, he'd probably been munching and crunching on something in our house.
Wires.
Yeah, wire. That's true. I'm gonna turn on the light switch and like that we never use, and just like
you trapped him, he trapped you. You know.
And so yeah, I we put. He had a nice last meal. He had some nice shredded cheddar cheese.
There you go. That's one of my favorite meals.
Mm-hmm.
Just right out of the bag.
Yeah, just little sprinkies on there.
Fuck yeah, dude.
But also, mouse traps terrify me a little bit to set up for the fact of like, oh yeah, this is plans to kill something. It is gonna fuck up my finger.
One of my all-time things that happens in my head when I'm setting one of those up is just don't sneeze. There's nothing worse than setting a mouse trap and like, oh, my nose itches. Oh shit. Oh no, I'm gonna sneeze.
Yeah. No, I paid extra for not the like they have the classic mouse trap where it's like the fucking wood board with the springs. No, I've had too many close calls with those. I bought like the fancier, like it's like a clip looking thing, so like you just clip it down, and so like less likely. It was a little more expensive, but I was like, for my sanity. And I gotta say, I got the job.
It worked. I like that. I hired professionals to come do because we have a litany of pests around our house because our whole like side yard is all like parkland.
Yep.
So we get plenty of different types of critters, and we hired professionals to come in. And I will tell you, their rodent traps have not worked a single time.
Oh.
Yeah, we still see rats and mice all over the place. Oh. So
this is going to sound very privileged of me. I've never seen a rat.
Really?
Okay, like I've seen like pet rats. I've held some, but like out in the wild, not seen a rat.
Yeah, you're lucky. They're disgusting.
I feel like we don't really have those in Nebraska.
I don't think it's a big enough city yet. They haven't like decided to migrate over. They're too busy in New York and LA.
Yeah, they're fucking elitist as fuck over. They're like, we're not going Midwest.
Yeah, we're not going all the way over there.
No, I've of course seen mouse. I love how I keep saying mouses and not mice.
Mouses. I see mouses in houses.
Yep.
Wearing blouses.
Not my fucking home.
You choose your gender, bitch. One or the other.
So yeah, now I'm just going to be haunted by this mouse.
Yeah, speaking of haunted, to go back to what the original theme of today was going to be, we are a couple of days, 4 days out of Halloween?
Yeah, we are.
At the time of recording, not at the time of dropping, obviously. Mouse droppings. Yeah. Anyways, what did you do for Halloween?
So on actual Halloween, we live in an area where like we don't have that many kids, but a lot of kids come to our neighbor. So we live on like the outskirts of a really nice neighborhood.
Mm-hmm.
And so we get the overflow of like, as I call them, we live on the outskirts of a neighborhood who has the full size candy bars.
Nice.
But we're not the full size candy. So like we're on the outskirts.
Look, you don't have to verify. We all know. You're not the full size house. We know.
No, we yes. As if you've listened to this podcast,
the guy who flies Spirit but won't take a 50-cent discount on a Big Gulp. Have we told that story yet?
I don't think so.
I think for the sake of this episode, I think we need to backtrack again real quick. You need to tell everybody what you told me about going in and getting a Big Gulp. Because I was so furious with you when you told me this.
I don't know why you were furious. I thought that was more funny than anything.
It's frustrating.
Why is it?
Tell the story, and we'll let the listeners decide.
I think
but
this
it is frustrating.
The story you're talking about, but I don't understand why it's frustrating. So like, there's a gas station in my neighborhood, and and I went to go get my 32-ounce soda, not a big gulp because we don't have 7-Elevens here, and that's trademark 7-Eleven. Don't need them
Sponsor
coming
the
after
podcast,
us.
by the way.
Yes. Yes, even though we don't have them here. And so I guess it's the thing where if you like, I always get a new cup because it's a new cup, but I guess they have a deal. If you bring in a used cup, they give you a 50 cents discount. But I did not. So the guy asked me if it was a new or used cup.
He
and
gave you the option of lying.
I said new.
He gave you the option of lying to get a 50-cent discount.
I didn't take it, though.
But you didn't take it.
First of all, I needed to set the precedent with this man. I will never actually, no, I'm going to see. I see him all the time. Also going to do another tangent of this gas station, which also doesn't make me look great.
Much does.
But yeah, this guy being like, this man definitely would be using a used cup to get the discount.
He read you like the back of his hand.
Yep. But no, also at this gas station, I was getting a gas station hot dog.
Mm-hmm, of course.
I fucking love gas station hot dogs.
Word.
I get the little boat tray, put my hot dog in it, and then I put my mustard on it.
Ketchup or no ketchup?
No ketchup. Just
That's
mustard.
The right answer. Nice.
That is the right answer. And I accidentally put it's the fucking squirty things. And so I put a little, probably too much on there, but so I go to pay and Abby's with me and she's like coming up and like she puts her candy on the counter and like I set the hot dog on the counter, but the weight ratio for it in the boat wasn't great. And the only way to describe it is it spilled out of the boat tray. And of course, landed fucking mustard side down.
Wiener side down on the scale. And who knows how many wieners have been on that scale.
And so, like, I ended up throwing it away, but I'm trying to help this man clean up a shit ton of mustard. And the worst part it was the last fucking hot dog.
Oh!
But so now, also when we go in that gas station, Abby likes to remind me, hey, don't spill your hot dog.
Yeah, dude. What a travesty. You wasted the glizzy.
I did. It was the last one, too. So, yeah, that gas station, they know me. It's a weird gas station, though. It doesn't sell alcohol.
Oh, yeah.
Which is very interesting. It's slightly inconvenient in that aspect, but
I would not step foot in that one. That's like the only reason I walk into a gas station.
But it's also, I think I have mentioned this gas station on the podcast before because it also is the gas station that has 3 slot machines.
That's right. Yeah, actually, that is now my Michelin star experience for Lincoln, Nebraska when I come and visit you. I must go and play some slots.
Yes. I still have not gone to play them. But I need to. Well, that's, again, I gave Abby the warning.
Save it for me. We'll do a podcast episode.
We'll do a podcast. Yes. Well, I don't know how they're legal, to be honest.
They're not. That's why it's fun.
And so that's that gas station.
Anyways, you've backtracked too far. You've gotten off the fact that given the fact that this guy knows who you are, he made an appropriate assessment of your character.
Yes.
And asked you if you have a new or a used cup. Because he knew you as a person.
No. I don't even think he asked if it was new or used. He just was like, used cup? Like, just straight, not even.
He just knew the caliber of person he was talking to. He saw that mustard dog flip upside down, and he was like, this guy's going to bring in a used cup in about 3 weeks.
Yeah. Yep.
So he asked you, and instead of saying, yes, it's a used cup and taking the 50-cent discount, you had too much pride, and you told him it was a new cup. We all
have a line in the sand, Damien.
I just love this is why it's frustrating to me, is because your line in the sand is a 50-cent discount of something that somebody is willingly giving you, but you are so picky about spending money that you will willingly fly Spirit to come to California. That's why I'm frustrated. That is insane.
It's all about like there's a different threshold, 50-cent threshold for my pride. Nope, but like saving a few hundred by flying Spirit.
Hey man, a plane is a plane, right? I mean,
It got me there, baby.
barely.
It got me there.
Oh my god. Anyways,
did it take a little bit away of me? Yeah.
Did it break my spirit a little bit? Sure.
That's why they call it Spirit, because it takes it away from you.
That's what I'm saying. They just suck it right out.
All right, back to the question. So anyway, Halloween
what
night.
What did you do for Halloween? 20 minutes into the fucking episode.
This episode is just tangents.
Jesus Christ.
So last year we ran out of candy super quickly because it was our first year. So this year we bought 2 giant Costco bags full of candy. Like it was 12 pounds of candy.
Woo! Nice.
It's like that amount of candy. Like when you're buying it, they don't go by how many pieces it is. It's by weight.
By net weight.
By net weight.
Yeah.
And so within like 2 hours, we went through all of it essentially.
2 hours.
Yeah, 2 to 2.5.
What time did people start ringing the bell?
There was a neighbor who has like a real small kid who was about like 6:15. That one made sense because it wasn't dark out yet, and it was like and it was a neighbor kid. Like we know this child.
Yeah.
Ish. But yeah, it went until about like 8:30 when we had to go record that podcast.
Oh boy, that was interesting. So I guess before we get into another tangent, my question for you is: so you bought essentially 12 pounds, of Halloween candy, and you ran out in about 2.5 hours.
Pretty much. It was actually almost perfect timing because it was like wrapping up. And to be fair, like I was giving out like 3 pieces of candy, the fun size. I think that's a good amount. That's probably equal to a full size candy bar when you really think about it.
That was exactly the question I was going into is at what clip were you handing out candy? Because if you were just handing out one per kid, running out in 2.5 hours is insane. You must have had a crazy amount of kids, but if you're handing out, 5 pieces per person, it's like, oh, okay, well that makes sense.
Nah, I was going about 3. Near the end, I was doing a little bit bigger because I was
dumping the bowl.
Pretty close, and so, but yeah, we still went through quite a bit, and so
that's awesome.
Yeah.
What do you think the net total of 2 bags of Halloween candy is nowadays? Because remember, back in the day, you could get a big old bag of candy at the store to hand out for $1, $1.25, $1.50.
What?
Yeah, back in the day, like in the 90s when we were kids.
Okay, fair enough.
You could buy a big old bag of candy for $1.50.
2 Costco bags. So they were $20 a bag. So I handed out $40 worth of candy.
And you didn't save 50 cents on a used cup, you slimy motherfucker.
Yes. No. And so yeah, no, it was
$4 isn't bad. That's not bad.
No, like I thought it was a pretty good deal considering. I don't know how much it would have been if we did hand out full size candy bars. And let me tell you, Costco like mixed bag of candy is actually pretty solid of different. Like we got one that was like all chocolate, and then one that was all like fruit and sour. And like they got some pretty good candies in there, like no duds.
Can we just finally get a Kirkland sponsorship,
dude? I wish.
Please. We've talked about. I mean, we have an episode named after them.
Yeah, we do.
Costco Cart Crash.
Yeah, baby.
Which, by the way, has not nearly enough listens for how good that episode is. I don't have to plug our own show on this, but
yes,
y'all just skipped over that episode for some reason. That is I
wonder if we
episode.
Released it on like a holiday, like on Easter or something. That would have been us.
Right on Christmas.
Yes. Yeah. And so, Yeah, and like while it was going, me and Abby were watching Adam's Family Values.
Nice. Good one.
And so yeah, it was pretty solid. No one egged our house.
Lucky.
So that's good. And then yeah, how about you? What was your you probably don't get any trick or treaters as we talked as you just said. Like if you didn't know like your house is it's hard to find if you don't know where it is.
Yeah, we get last year and this year were the same amount of kids, which is 0. Not a single knock on the door, not a single.
Do you just close the gate?
Yeah, we close the gate and bolt it shut and lock it with chains. So I don't know why people don't approach.
Yeah,
it's weird.
Mr. Vanderman with his gate. I think that's the first time we've talked about your gate.
Well, it's broken, so I don't have to bring it up. You try to close it, and it just scrapes on the ground and makes god awful noises.
Yeah.
No, we didn't close the gate, but we don't. I mean, we don't have to. We don't get any. We don't get anybody. And honestly, we had so much candy because we went to Disneyland for their Oogie Boogie Bash celebration with my sister and her husband and Jeff. Shout out Joffrey.
Oh, yeah. Joffrey.
And his family. So it was a really good time, but they have like trick or treat there, and I mean, we probably have 25 pounds of candy. We each took like one of those little mini backpacks, full to the brim, plus 2 like shopping bags full per person of candy. So we were like, if we get any trick or treaters, we're just going to hand them the entire bag of candy. But no, not a single person. And I wouldn't have been able to answer the door anyways, because like Christian alluded to, we were recording a podcast. It wasn't our podcast episode, but we were recording a last minute guest episode podcast on the Sapient podcast.
Yeah. And so, well, probably when that comes out, did you guys watch? So like with the lead up to Halloween, because I know you like spooky stuff.
Oh yeah.
Do you have movies you have to watch every year during October?
Not that I have to, but I do have some that I really, really enjoy. The top of which is Monster House. I don't know if anybody likes that one, but that's
so
one of my all-time.
That was a new one. I kind of like it was one I kind of forgot about, but I think is one of the funniest low key movie. The animation is kind of creepy, to be honest. It's like great. A weird, but like we did watch that one because one of my favorite lines from that fucking movie is like the girl, of course, who's much smarter than the 2 boys, is like, it has a uvula, and then the fat little...
It's a girl house?
It's a girl house?
Chowder. Shout out Chowder. I love that man. Chowder is my spirit animal.
So would you say that is your favorite Halloween movie?
I wouldn't say it's my favorite, but it is one that around the holiday season, I do really, really like to watch. That one, Beetlejuice. I really, really like the original Scream movie. That's one of my favorites of all time. And now Abby and I have the outdoor movie set up, so we've been watching spooky movies outside. So we watch Scream, Friday the 13th, Freddy vs. Jason, Monster House. I mean, we've watched several things. Yeah. So yeah, it is tradition for us to just spend the whole October month just watching scary movies as much as we can. I have a couple of recommendations. We haven't done recommendations on the episode for a while. Hysteria is one of the new thriller what do they call it? Thriller series.
Yeah.
On I don't know what it's on actually. Is it Peacock?
I think it's on Peacock.
Yeah. Hysteria is great. It's got Bruce Campbell. If anybody is a fan of old horror movies, he's from the original Evil Dead trilogy. Yep. So we watched that. Very, very good. And then we just finished the new M. Night Shyamalan movie, Trap.
Ooh.
Very good. I honestly will tell you, I watch all of the M. Night movies, mostly out of like sick fascination with how bad they usually are.
Yes, they've not. He's had a lot of misses since The Sixth Sense and
But I will
Aliens.
tell you, because you mentioned Sixth Sense, this one is his best since then.
Wow. Yeah.
This is a fantastic movie. And keep in mind, take it with a grain of salt. I know there's a lot of like obvious foreshadowing.
Yeah.
The story itself isn't gonna like shock you or anything like that. Like it's not. But also, you watch The Sixth Sense again, and you're like, oh, how was I ever fooled that Bruce Willis was alive?
Yeah.
Right? You watch it now, so just go into it with that mindset of like, it is very obvious, but it's a very, very thrilling movie.
Yeah.
So highly recommend Trap, which also is on, I believe, on Max right now.
Okay.
So yeah, that's what we did over Halloween. So
my favorite movie, it's now kind of a cult classic. It's technically a kids movie. It's called The Monster Squad.
Mm-hmm.
And that one I have to watch every year because it has, and I notice new things each year because it has one of the best lines of any movie. It's because they're fighting like monsters, but it's Wolfman's got nards. Because the kid kicks the like werewolf in the crotch and like he bows over, and so that's a great
the one that has isn't the main character, doesn't he like create comics? Is that the same one that I'm thinking of?
No, this is like, I guess, well, no, not really. He like, it's like a group of like 4 friends, I guess. Yeah, 4 friends who like, they're really into monsters, and so they're called the monsters. Like, you know, they
maybe I haven't seen that one.
Yeah, it's a movie that's all over the place. Kind
of like this podcast.
Yeah, it has some other great lines where like, so it like features like Van Helsing's part of it, and like they need someone to like speak German, and then one of the kids is like, "Oh, my sister is taking German," and the line is something along like your sister doesn't speak German. All she does is hang around and let guys touch her tits.
Which is very German of her, honestly.
Yep. Yeah,
that's awesome.
And then weirdly it has like a Holocaust survivor as part of the movie.
All right. There like, you go.
It's a wild movie, but it's one of my favorites for Halloween.
Okay. I'm going to add that to the list. Oh, another recommendation for especially like spooky stuff is anything by Mike Flanagan.
Mike Flanagan.
Okay. Yeah. So Haunting of Hill House, Midnight Mass, The Fall of the House of Usher. If you like really, really good horror or like thriller stuff, I don't know that there's anything. And they're series. They're not actually movies.
Okay.
So it's good, man. I think Midnight Mass and The Fall of the House of Usher might be 2 of the best horror like series that I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah, no. As you know, I don't really like. I can go either way on horror movies. Abby is like not a huge fan, but I really enjoy like horror comedies.
Okay, Shaun of the Dead.
Yeah, Shaun of the Dead is one of my favorite movies.
Honestly, one of the best zombie movies of all time.
Yeah,
Zombieland.
I enjoy Zombieland. Tucker and Dale versus Evil.
Another great one.
Cabin in the Woods. I would consider kind of like it's a
Cabin
weird.
in the
I don't even.
Woods.
It's
I was thinking of Knock at the Cabin Door.
Oh yeah,
that's the one with Dave Bautista.
Yeah,
and Jonathan Groff. That one's pretty freaky.
Yeah. I'm trying to think of other like, I don't know if you consider Beetlejuice in that genre or if it's more.
It's more of a comedy. Yeah, it's definitely sillier.
And then
nice fucking model.
And then I really enjoy. It's not. I guess it's technically a comedy, but Abby doesn't like it as much as I do. Is Rocky Horror Picture Show?
That's a great. It's spooky.
It's spooky-esque, but also like musical and kind of a comedy.
Yeah, I really love that one. I saw that at Film Streams in Omaha.
Yeah,
and they did like the full thing where everybody's dancing and singing, and people throw the toilet paper.
Yeah, I did that back in high school at the Dundee Theater before it got like all nice and stuff.
But, it was really good. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Highly,
So
another recommendation: do that if you're in Nebraska. Go to that.
yeah, I think a lot. There's probably some places in LA that do it, or like
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty common thing. Didn't do it this year. I was thinking about doing it, but yeah.
Yeah.
So now it's there's not really Thanksgiving movies, is there?
Well, Eli Roth just put one out last year, or was it
Okay.
earlier this year? I can't remember, but it's literally called Thanksgiving, and it's a Scream-esque slasher, but also
Yeah.
has some elements of horror
Yeah.
and some
That's
elements of comedy. Like it's very very good.
that. Okay. Now I'm thinking of one that is
Very
a
campy.
Oh yeah, talking about super super campy Thanksgiving horror films. It's
Mm-hmm.
called Thanksgiving.
Okay.
The
I like the
premise
sound of it.
the premise of it is of course something like with like being something was built on like a Native American burial ground, but it's about a killer turkey
Oh no way.
who can talk and is like sentient.
It's like the turkey version of Rubber then.
Yes, very. I think it might be the same studio or
Oh
director, but
yes.
it was one like back in the fraternity days. Someone just found it on Netflix, and we fell in love with it because it is so fucking stupid and hilarious and but like a horror and like the best line I can think of is the turkey says nice tits bitch.
Okay.
um
You like all the tits in these
Apparently,
movies.
that's my horror genre.
That's all I look for in horror movies. Do they
Yeah,
talk about people's tits?
yep. And then yeah, it's hilarious of a film.
If we're
Highly
given
recommend.
recommendations for horrible movies, I would be remiss if I didn't talk about Die You Zombie Bastards.
Oh, that's a good one.
That is one of the all-time. I don't know that it's legally even considered a movie or not, but it is something. It is something to wonder at. I think it was only released on YouTube back in maybe
Yeah,
2004 or
yeah,
something like that. And I'm pretty sure it was some sort of like student film.
yeah.
But if you can find, I don't know if you can still find it. I haven't even thought about it until we started talking about like horrible movies. But if you can find it on YouTube or anything like that, good luck. I would say give it a shot, but you're not going to finish it.
I feel like we tried to watch it at someone's apartment back in Omaha in the day.
That
Like,
would make sense. Yeah.
I think that's how I know about it.
Yeah, we hold on to those things for dear life. Anything that is terrible, we always like to thrust onto others if we can.
Yep, I think it was just like after the bars or something, and someone's like, "Let's put on something," and then it was that.
And then you didn't talk to us for like a year, probably.
Yeah, probably that checks out. I'm like, well, I'm staying in Lincoln for a bit now.
Yeah. Speaking of Halloween, too, as adults, what is your take on adult Halloween parties?
I think they're still good.
Mm-hmm.
I think we used to do them a lot more, but then everyone we know here has kids, so a lot less. But we used to go post college to different people's Halloween parties.
Yeah.
And so,
have you been to one? Have you been to like? Did you go to one this year or last year?
No, not neither. I guess I don't think we've. I'm trying to think when the last time we was. Probably back in Iowa. And so,
yeah.
How about you guys?
This is one of the first years since Abby and I have been together that we didn't do a Halloween party.
Yeah,
we hosted one last year that was really really great. Keegan Indigo came down for it. We had a fog machine. We decorated the whole yard. Had like a shout out Michelle, one of my friends from work, brought a like spooky pumpkin piñata.
Ooh.
So we did that. I mean, there was probably 50 people here.
Yeah.
So that's one of the only parties that we still throw at the house pretty consistently is Halloween parties.
Yeah.
I feel like it's one of the only things that actually gets a good turnout in LA.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like everybody's always just dying to be somebody else in LA, so it's a good
That's so
excuse
true.
to come out and party. But everybody shows up in full costume. Everybody really participates. Everybody brings food. Everybody's like down to just party. So we had spooky music playing. We had the fog machine. We had the bonfire lit. It was a really good time. So I'm still a big fan. I don't really go to Halloween parties very often, but I do like to host them.
Yeah, I think it was easier sometimes too when I would like you would wear a costume to the bars,
Mm-hmm.
like and everyone's in costumes, and so
That was always a good time, especially in Lincoln.
I think I probably done that more recently than I did gone to a Christmas or not a Christmas party, but a Halloween party at someone's house. And
Yeah.
So, yeah, I do enjoy it. I actually just like wearing costumes. I don't know why. Probably because I was never a theater kid, but enjoy that aspect.
It's silly. It's a good
And,
it's a good excuse to like, I don't know, be weird.
Yeah, and it's kind of a form of like being creative, and like I never really buy costumes. I don't want to say make them, put them together. I've never really bought something off the shelf. I've always,
if I do, I try to make it the lowest quality thing I can get.
Yes.
Like if I'm going to spend money on it, I want it to be the cheapest, worst costume I can find, because otherwise I'm just going to put one together.
Yeah.
So usually I am creating my own costume out of things that I already have.
Yeah.
But there are some, like we did Wreck-It Ralph a couple years in a row where I had to buy specific
things. I do remember that. That was a very good one.
Yeah. So like I had to buy overalls because I don't have those. I actually bought Incredible Hulk like punching fists, but then I painted them like tan or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
So I did that, and Abby and I are big fans of just creating our own. Like this year we went as Anger and Joy from Inside Out.
Yeah.
But I just had the stuff already.
That's true. I feel like I just have a plethora of clothing that can just be turned into costume, or I'm like created up from that. So like for this year's Halloween, as you know, I went as a Minion, and the Sapien
podcast to see what Christian and I went as this year.
Yeah, and so I had overalls and a yellow long sleeve yellow shirt and a yellow beanie, and then just had crayons because I'm a child who enjoys doing coloring books still.
Wait, okay, hold on. That spawns a question.
Yeah.
Did you just pronounce it crayons?
Crayons. 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 Crayons.
Crayons.
Crayons.
Crayola crayons.
Crayons.
Because I've always wondered that, because I've heard 3 different ways of saying it.
It's crayons.
No,
crayons.
It's not. It's crayons.
How do you say it? Crayon sounds too weird to me. Crayons.
But
that's how
think
it's spelled,
about
I guess.
Yeah, think of the spelling. Crayon. Crayon. But crayons is like Crans.
I think it has a W in it. Like
no, but then I've also heard crowns.
Crowns, that's a southern thing. I know
it's a southern thing. It's also what I've noticed is people who are of German descent.
Oh.
Are crowns for some reason.
I love how very specific that is.
It's just because I've known a few people who are like of German descent.
Yeah.
And they always say crowns, which I find very, very interesting, because where are you getting the OW from? But crayons, I think that must be like the Midwest version of saying
that must be it, yeah.
Because I've always heard crayons, but it's always bothered me. Yes. I've always said crayons.
Crayons.
But then when I say crayons, people look at me weird.
Yeah, I get that.
So I'm like, what is the right way? I think it's crayons.
I think crayons.
Like Crayola crayons.
Yeah, crayons.
Right?
Yeah.
Anyways.
Yes. So, but yeah, just cobbled that together. Like, didn't spend any money. I just stuff I had. And so I've done that a few years with costumes. It's just like what I've had.
I also get a sick like pleasure out of when people know what you're supposed to be. And you didn't buy anything. Like, it's not it's not crazy obvious, but people still
Yeah.
get it. I like that too.
Yeah, I think that's also sometimes like with costumes. Do you go with something very unique where people aren't going to know what you are, or do you go for the hits? So like with the Minion, when I was handing out candy, every fucking kid when they came up the door was so excited. They're like, "It's Bob!" Yeah, banana. Like it was a huge hit of a costume, and so I was like, "Okay, this is."
Yeah, I do have to say, one of my favorite things that happened this year. So, like I said, we went to Disneyland.
Yeah.
For the Oogie Boogie Bash, we all dressed up as Inside Out. All of us were
that
each
was a
an individual
very
character.
popular Halloween costume this year. I feel like relevant. I know what.
It's very relevant.
That's true. Yeah, and I think it's super fucking easy too, right?
Yeah, like none of us. Well, okay, I shouldn't say none of us. Jeff and Ida really went all out, and Alex, my sister's husband, really went all out and got the actual like masks and shit like that.
Okay. Yeah,
Abby and I just kind of did what we were talking about, just put shit together. Yeah. And so when we're all together, you can clearly see that we're Inside Out, right?
Yeah.
But as we're trick-or-treating and as it gets darker outside, and you start to kind of split up and you're going through the lines and stuff like that, everybody still was able to know that I was Anger from Inside Out, which was cool. But one hero Disney employee looked at me, and you and I were so, if somebody says something, we just go, yeah. We just like, I don't know, inherently agree for some reason. I don't know. It's just like baked into my code. If somebody says something, I just agree. I don't know why.
We are people, going back to the possum talk, because I fucking love possums.
Yeah.
We're like possums in the thing of like, we just want the least reason. We just want this to go as smooth as possible for a lot. Like, if it's something we don't give a zero fuck about, we're just both so laid back where we're just like, it's not worth my effort to correct you. I'm just gonna like, but if something we really care about, we will.
Yeah.
But yeah, if it's something like we just let it roll off of us.
And I'm not somebody, most of the time, I'm just going to say yes and agree. And then because it's, I think I've talked about this on here before too, not to sidetrack too far, but it's the same reason why when Keegan and I hang out in public and people come up to us, they're like, are you guys twins? We just say yes. Because it's more fun to see my God, I knew, guys. And then they're like, guys, look, I told you they're blah, blah. Like that's more fun of an experience to be like, no. And they go, oh, okay. And then like, there's nothing there anymore. So I almost like to just say yes to see how people react to it. Yeah. And so back to, we're at Disney and it's dark out and we're kind of split away from the group and we're trick-or-treating. And one guy stops me. He goes, whoa, wait, are you the guy? And I was like, uh-huh. And he goes, the guy from the zombie movie, the funny zombie movie. And I was like, yeah, Shaun of the Dead. And he goes, dude, best costume I've seen tonight. So I was like, okay, cool. So because I said yes, I was from Shaun of the Dead, that dude was like so stoked because I'm sure he's only seeing Disney stuff. Yeah. So me, in his mind, seeing me as Shaun of the Dead.
How many fucking Jack skeletons are there?
I mean, so many. And I ran into 6 or 7 people from Inside Out too. So.
What is your thought on Nightmare Before Christmas? I know we're going on tangents, but this is actually somewhat related. What is your thought on
no thoughts.
No thoughts?
It's fine.
Did you watch it as a child?
Yes.
Did you grow up with? So I grew up with it as well. And then like, I don't know at what point it like fucking like every millennial, it became like a weird personality trait or like became very like hot topic-y in a bad way.
I view this is a hot take for somebody who says it's fine. For somebody who doesn't have a take on it, my hot take is I view Nightmare Before Christmas as the Nirvana of movies.
Yeah, I get that.
It's so popular. It's so just inherently baked into civilization that I can't sit here and talk shit about it, but I also just don't get the allure. Like, I'm sorry, the music is fine. I don't find it that catchy. Like, we went to a sing along one time.
This is Halloween. This is Halloween.
Yeah, I'm like, we went.
Also,
to
it's not an episode if I don't sing randomly.
Right. We went to a sing along.
Our listeners are,
yeah, they love when you sing. I've gotten many texts about that.
Me just screaming into the mic where we're kind of talking, and then just me screaming. Sorry.
Have Christian sing more on the podcast. I've heard that plenty of times.
Yeah.
Thank you, everybody. Wow, thank you.
Yeah, I'll be here all week.
I'll be here, until I inevitably stop recording this podcast.
Yeah.
No, but we went to a sing along one time, and something that I realized is I grew up with that movie. I've seen it a bunch. I still don't like. I know almost every word to Frozen songs, and I've seen Frozen maybe 4 times.
Yeah,
but I've seen Nightmare Before Christmas since I was a kid, and I, for the life of me, don't know any of the words to any of the songs except for the very, very well-known verses.
Yeah.
And so it's just one of those things where like the music isn't necessarily catchy or easily rememberable.
Yeah.
It's cool visually, but I don't know. I don't think it's fantastic. I think it's fine.
I think this is going to sound not great as I say. I don't want to say it became trashy.
Sure.
You know what like the people I associate with who are way too into it aren't my kind of people, I guess.
I think it's different to really, really like it and enjoy it. I think it's different, but I mean, you have the same thought process, like Disney adults too.
I don't mind Disney adults.
Yeah. I think a lot of people feel the same way about Disney adults as what you're talking about with people who are obsessed with Nightmare Before Christmas, where it's like, okay, come on. It's not like that,
It reminds me.
It's like me with Taylor Swift fans, honestly.
Oh God.
But I'm serious. Like, yeah, she's fine. She's great. She's good. But
maybe it's because I associate Nightmare Before Christmas with like the girl from high school who wore the fucking Cookie Monster pajama pant, slippers, and like flaming hot Cheetos,
and always forgot to shower.
Yeah. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's why
we're getting so much closer to being canceled. It's not even funny.
We tiptoe that line so much.
We don't actually think this. Everybody's great.
Yeah.
We have nothing against anybody.
We don't want to alienate any listeners.
I'm not winking to the camera, I promise.
Clink, clink. You don't have to say it. I don't remember if we've talked. We're going on too many tangents. I feel like we've talked about it on the pod. I can't wink.
Try it.
Oh, God.
Do it. Do it. He takes a deep breath.
I can't. That's what. Is the right eye doing it?
No, you're just wincing in pain.
I've tried.
You look like you're trying to do a Robert De Niro impression. Yeah, you talking to me, huh?
Abby's like,
let me tell you something.
Abby's just like, yeah, just close one eye. I was like, I can't. I used to do a bit about it.
No wonder you're such a shitty marksman.
Again, yeah. I used to have a bit about it. It was like, yeah, it was punishment from God because people couldn't handle if I had the ability to wink.
Yeah, that's it.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it is.
Not, I don't know. I can't, and so
that's so funny. Abby always has to give it an honest effort too.
I just can't, and so yeah.
I just go back and forth.
Mr. Show off over here.
Yeah,
me make me feel
bad about myself. Oh,
the
eyebrows.
Rock.
Can do them both.
Nope.
Okay, so you just don't have very good control of your face.
Oh,
there's a little. Oh, you're back to Robert De Niro.
Yep.
Mine just comes from a childhood of the only way I can make people laugh is by making the worst faces of all time. Shout out to, no, you're not doing. You're just leaning your head a different direction. Huh? What about this? Huh?
Optical illusion, baby.
Yeah. Maybe if one side of my face is farther, it'll look like it.
Yep. No, so you can't see the other eye.
I made a career out of it as a kid, making the worst faces, and then, shout out to Captain Crust back in the day. I'm sure everybody remembers that profile pic on
Yep.
Facebook. But that was my bread and butter for many years, is just making the worst faces I could ever make. So I have what you call impeccable face stamina.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can't wink.
Speaking of face, not at all actually, but I think there was one other question that we got around the holiday time.
Yeah.
That we wanted to talk about, which is, do you believe in ghosts?
Oh God, I knew this was coming. I don't, but I believe you do.
Well, before we get into that, let me ask you, why don't you? Like, what do you have against it?
I'm not like against.
Sounds like you're pretty against it.
There's no, like, again, I'm a man of science. I don't want to be like that, but
I'm a man
of science. But yeah, like, I think for every quote unquote ghost sighting, there is a normal explanation for it.
So what about, something that has been in one place for 6 months and nobody's touched it, and all of a sudden it's somewhere else?
It's not a ghost that moved it. It could be a mouse.
A mouse. But you kill all the mice.
Yeah. Or they have like shown studies where like most of the like quote unquote haunted places actually just have really bad gas leaks. So it makes
shit. That's what it is, huh?
Like that. There is a like, because they're like, think about it, like old abandoned houses where people are like, oh, I see things. It's actually because there's gas leaks.
I guess all the times that I've had ghost encounters was when I was driving my 1986 Toyota Corolla without a fucking muffler on it. That makes sense. Just driving all over Omaha, inhaling gasoline. I guess that makes sense. I don't know why I can't sleep anymore. I'm just seeing all these bloody figures at night.
Or like they're like, have you ever? I can't know the actual show. I just call it the Ghost Bro Show. Where they're like, oh yeah, this meter thing is picking up.
What is it? His name's Zach.
I think so.
Of course, his name is Zach.
And he's like egging on the ghost. He's like, show yourself.
And then they're surprised when they do.
And the meter is just going back and forth. I was like, yeah, that's because that's a carbon monoxide meter, and you guys are
yeah. You guys are at Hiroshima. Of course, that meter's going off.
I think Hiroshima is all cleaned up in action. I think you're thinking of Chernobyl.
That's same thing. Close enough. Same town.
No. They're close in the aspect of like Russia is kind of close to
Eurasia.
Japan. Yeah, that's true. I guess they're not as far as you would think.
I like that you're giving me credit. I'll take that as a win.
I guess so.
No, I've had encounters before. I don't know that I necessarily believe in ghosts.
Yeah,
but I will ponder on the idea of like, well, I don't know that there's any science behind what happens after we die, so I can't necessarily say that it's completely unreasonable.
I guess, yes. That is...
Not saying I believe it. I'm also not saying, I want to make sure that George over here in the corner doesn't haunt me tonight. I've also been experiencing some weird shit around the house.
How's your ass feel sitting on that fence, Damien?
It's a little bloody. Anybody got a white sheet I can throw on my ass? That's a real haunting right there.
Oh. No, I guess that's true. Like I won't also sit here and say there aren't things in the world that aren't unexplained. Like,
yeah, it's just like, I don't know. And there's just weird things that happen sometimes where there's really no reason for them to happen. And I'm not an electrician, but explain to me how, we have battery operated stuff that has a remote control and can't turn on or off without either the flip being switched or the remote turned on. And then just certain nights it will be on or off.
That's because a mouse has chewed through the wiring.
Oh shit!
That's a good callback.
All right, we got to get out of here. Thanks everybody for that is a great way to end this episode. So bye.
Bye.